So now that the holiday season is pretty much over, all our focus is going to be on the trade deadline in February. The trade deadline is on February 8th this year, so it's coming up around the corner. And you know the NBA makes a big spectacle out of it, and it's going to be a big deal. So in today's video, we're going to go through every single NBA team and talk about their best trade asset. Now, best trade asset does not equal the best player on the team. You got to factor in contract, age, and would they just fit on other rosters in general. If you guys do enjoy these videos, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. All right, so we're going to start things off with the Toronto Raptors, and in my opinion, if a team called up the Raptors and asked for their highest valued player, they would say Scottie Barnes. So the reason I would go with Scottie Barnes over Pascal Siakam is because he's 7 years younger, he's still in his rookie contract, and in my opinion, just has a higher ceiling in general. Barnes has taken that massive step in year 3, improving his playmaking ability, where he's now averaging around 6 assists a night. He's also improved as a rebounder as well and has been more physical in the paint. He's averaging 21 points per game this season, and that can continue to go up as he's just 22 years old. I mean, the Raptors were hesitant in giving up Scottie Barnes and a Kevin Durant deal last year, so you know they value him highly. The Knicks' best trade asset is Jalen Brunson. I don't really think there's a debate about that one. Jalen Brunson is still on one of the best contracts in the league. Brunson could be an all-star starter this year, and he's making $26 million. That's 14 less million per year than Fred VanVleet got with the Houston Rockets last offseason. I mean, this contract has been one of the best investments the Knicks have ever made as a franchise. The dude is averaging 26 points, 6 assists this year, and shooting 46% from 3. All as a 27-year-old in his prime, he would go for a king's ransom. We're gonna go across down to Brooklyn, and we're going to talk about Mikal Bridges with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I don't think Mikal Bridges would go for an insane amount, but he's definitely the most valued player on this Brooklyn Nets squad. He's making $21.7 million this year, $23 million next year, then $24.9 million in 2026. He is also one of the best contracts in the league right now. He's somebody that can give you 21, 5, and 4 on good efficiency and give you elite defense. He would go for multiple first-round picks, pick swaps, and young players. The next two teams are pretty obvious for the Boston Celtics. It's Jason Tatum. I mean, Jason Tatum is one of the 10 best players in the NBA. He's made it to the NBA Finals once back in 2022. He's made multiple conference finals appearances. He's an All-NBA first-team caliber player. He's an MVP caliber player right now. It's funny talking about Tatum because I'm thinking like they would never trade him, or what could he even go for? But 10 years ago, you would say that, but honestly, we've seen some of the biggest names in basketball get traded before, and borderline or even top 5 guys. Guys like Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard have all been traded when they've been arguably top 5 guys in the league. And the next one, also pretty obvious, it's Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, if Embiid was a little bit older, you could say Tyrese Maxey, but Embiid is still just 29 years old, and he's having an even better year this year than he did last year, and he won MVP last year. Embiid has been nursing some injuries over the course of his career, so that could always lower his value just a little bit, but the dude is averaging 35 points and 12 rebounds on 54% shooting. He could go back-to-back in MVPs, so he would go for just an insane amount of value if the 76ers ever were to move on from him. All right, for the Chicago Bulls, I think it's actually pretty interesting. I don't think it's Zach LaVine because of that contract, his age, and his ability to fit on other teams. So I'm going with Kobe White. Kobe White signed an extension with the Chicago Bulls in the offseason. He's going to be making $11 million this year, $12 million next year, and $12.8 million in 2026. And this dude has been an absolute beast this year, posting career highs in points per game, assists per game, and rebounds per game. Over Kobe White's last 17 games, which is relatively close to when Zach LaVine got hurt, he's averaging 22.5 points on 48% from the field efficiency, 43% from 3, and 82% from the line. And the dude is still just 23 years old. The Bulls should be really thinking about building around Kobe White and not Zach LaVine. All right, for the Detroit Pistons, you could say their first-round pick this year if there was like a Wemby-type prospect, but no, it's clearly Cade Cunningham. I mean, people were talking about Cade Cunningham potentially getting traded or wanting out. I mean, you know how much it would cost to get him because he's still under his team control from his rookie contract this year and next year, and then he's basically due a 4 to 5 year rookie max extension as well. So the Pistons can relatively keep him on their roster till the 2030 season. So he would go for a king's ransom. The dude is averaging 23 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds this year. And he got off to a rough start efficiency-wise, but he's been way better as of late. Unfortunately, though, it hasn't translated to wins as the Pistons are the worst team in the league this year. Okay, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, this one was tough, but I decided to go with Evan Mobley over Donovan Mitchell. You could also give some love to Darius Garland here, but the reason I went Mobley over Mitchell is because Mitchell has basically 1 year after this year left on his contract, so that will hurt his value a little bit in a trade because the team wouldn't give up as much as they would for Mobley for Mitchell just because he could leave them in the 2025 free agency. And Mobley's still a defensive player of the year caliber big man at just 22 years old. Unfortunately, he did have knee surgery this year, so that could hurt his value a little bit, and that's why you could opt to say Darius Garland for this video. But I just think that Mobley could be a 20-10 guy one day while also winning a defensive player of the year, and that is a damn valuable player. All right, for the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm probably saying Chris Middleton. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just making sure that you're paying attention. We're going with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, basically the same thing that I mentioned with Jason Tatum and Joel Embiid. Like, it's very tough to see a top 5 guy ever get traded, but crazier things have happened in the league before. And Giannis at 29 years old, already a 7-time All-Star, a 7-time All-NBA member, 2-time MVP, and a Finals MVP. I think you may actually have to give up a literal city or a billion-dollar Fortune 500 company to acquire Giannis. We have another untouchable player here with the Indiana Pacers, and it's Tyrese Halliburton. I think you can even increase Halliburton's value a little bit more just because he really wants to bring a championship to the city of Indianapolis. It's crazy because Halliburton had that same feeling with the Sacramento Kings as well, so this guy is a really loyal player. And I mean, Halliburton has turned into one of the best passers in the league and one of the best shooters in the league this season, shooting 42% from 3 on 8.5 attempts a night. The dude's numbers are 25 points per game and 12 assists per night. Those are MVP caliber numbers right there. All right, so we're gonna hop over to the West Coast. We're gonna talk about the LA Lakers, and I'm saying that their best trade asset right now is Anthony Davis. So yeah, the reason why it's AD over LeBron is because he's 8 years younger. I still think that LeBron is the better player right now, but AD is gonna give you 25 points and 12 rebounds a night. Defensive player of the year caliber defense. He's one of the best shot blockers and rim protectors in the league, and he's 30 years old, so that's why I'm opting to say AD over LeBron. But we're gonna choose an older player for the LA Clippers. He's 32 years old. I'm saying their best trade asset right now is Kawhi Leonard. This was actually an easier decision than I thought it was gonna be. I was like, oh, maybe Paul George, maybe James Harden, but no, it's clearly Kawhi. Paul George is actually a year older than Kawhi as well, because PG was drafted back in 2010, Kawhi in 2011. Kawhi Leonard has been healthy this season. In 27 games, he's averaging 24.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. On really good efficiency as well, 52% from the field and 43% from 3. And I just want to see a healthy Kawhi once in the playoffs again. All right, so for the Phoenix Suns, it's not their best player, it's their second best player, and that's Devin Booker. Devin Booker is the best shooting guard in the league, in my opinion, at 27 years old. Booker's averaging 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists this year, kind of playing more point guard, and he could be a damn good elite point guard as well. He's also super efficient, shooting 47% from the field and 37% from 3. And hey, there's been some rumblings outside of Phoenix. Maybe somebody could get traded from that team at the deadline, and Devin Booker would bring back an insane value if that were to ever happen. Going up to Northern California, we're going to talk about the Sacramento Kings and De'Aaron Fox. I mean, Fox is also a homegrown guy in Sacramento, so that would probably up his value to Sacramento a little bit more. And he's having a career year, 30 points, 6 assists, 4.5 rebounds a night. I also watched Fox shoot a career high 15 threes and hit 7 of them the other night against Portland. So he's really improved that aspect of his game as an outside shooter, because he's shooting almost 40% from 3 this year. And in retrospect, he shot 32% from 3 last year on 5 attempts a night, and he's taking 8.5 this year. Okay, for the Golden State Warriors, I wasn't going to choose Steph Curry first, because I was like, he's 35. They have to have somebody with more value. No, it's still Steph Curry. And there really isn't a debate in this one. He's definitely their best trade asset at the moment. Obviously, another homegrown guy as well. So they would probably take even a little bit more on top of the Kings ransom it would take to trade for Steph Curry. And it doesn't look like he's slowing down either. He's still the best shooter in the league, both from 3 and from the line. And I couldn't even think about a trade package that it would take to get Steph. Going over to OKC, we're going to talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like De'Aaron Fox, like Halliburton, like Booker, it would take an insane amount to get SGA, especially because he's just 25 years old. And before last year, Shai's name would always come up in rumors because he never really had a winning team in OKC in his time there. So everyone's like, oh, he may request a trade. And now he's leading OKC to being one of the better teams in the Western Conference this season. And in year 6 for Shai, he's averaging 31 points, a league high 2.8 steals a night, and is shooting 54% from the field and 91% from the line. The dude is just an absolute stud. Speaking about studs, let's talk about Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel like there was maybe a week in Anthony Edwards' career that he wasn't the most valuable trade asset on this Timberwolves team. It was probably his first week in the NBA. Because once you saw the potential in this dude, you knew he was going to go for more than Karl Anthony Towns ever would. And is averaging 25 points, 5 assists, and 5.5 rebounds this year, and a steal and a half a night. 45% from the field, 37% from 3, and 85% from the line. And oh yeah, he's still just 22 years old. For the Denver Nuggets, it's Nikola Jokic. Like Giannis, this dude would just never get traded. He's homegrown. He's 28 years old. He already is a 5-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. He's the reigning Finals MVP. It is a shame though, because there are just probably 20 players that I would just kill to see play with Nikola Jokic together, because I feel like you can pair anybody up with Jokic and they would be the most exciting duo in the league. I was going back and forth on who I wanted to choose for the Portland Trailblazers. I didn't go with Scoot Henderson, their most recent number 3 overall pick. I didn't go with their leading scorer, Anthony Simons, but I opted to go with Shaedon Sharpe. So I think it really came down between Sharpe and Simons, and the reason why I went with Sharpe over Simons was due to his contract and his age, because Sharpe is still on his rookie contract. He's only in year 2, as Simons already got his rookie extension, is making north of $25 million a year. And Sharpe is just 20 years old as well, and he's averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, rebounds, and 3 assists this year, and you could really see the star potential in him. And he's just going to get better and better each year, and I think he'd be the best trade asset on the Blazers at the moment. For the Utah Jazz, even though he's a free agent at the end of this year, it's still Lauri Markkanen. I think maybe if we saw like a year 2 jump from Walker Kessler, I could have said him, but it's still clearly Lauri. Markkanen's averaging 24 points, 8.5 rebounds in his second year in Utah after being an all-star for them last year and winning most improved as well. I mean, Markkanen has been thrown around in some trade rumors recently, and I feel like the only team that could really trade for him just due to their vault of draft picks is the OKC Thunder, because it may take like 6 total first-round picks to get him. All right, we're gonna head across the country, down south to South Beach for the Miami Heat, and it's definitely Bam Adebayo over Jimmy Butler. I don't know though, the way Jaime Jaquez is playing, you may have to say him. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's definitely Bam Adebayo just because he's still just 26 years old, and he's a defensive player of the year caliber player, even though he's never won the award yet. And he's having probably the best offensive season of his career as well. Career high in points per game at 22 a night, and he's also giving the Miami Heat 10 rebounds a night and 4 assists as well, while also still being a defensive player of the year caliber player. For the Charlotte Hornets, it's clearly LaMelo Ball. Even though LaMelo hasn't played too much in his NBA career so far, you could just see the potential in him. And obviously, he puts up some crazy stat lines as well. Before he went down with an injury this year, he was averaging 25 points, 8 assists, and 5.5 rebounds a night. We don't know if LaMelo Ball is a good playoff performer or not because he hasn't made the playoffs yet in his 4-year career. And it doesn't look like year 4 is going to be the start of it. For the Atlanta Hawks, it's definitely their point guard as well, Trae Young. It's interesting for the Atlanta Hawks because they've definitely been a disappointing team this year, and I do wonder if we're going to see some moves from them at the deadline. But Trae Young is definitely their best trade asset, somebody that's giving you 28 points and 11 assists a night, and still being one of the best shooters in the league, shooting 38% from 3 on 9 attempts a night. He already got that rookie max extension though, so you would have to pay him $40 million this year, $43 million next year, $46 in 2026, and $49 million in 2027. All right, so we're gonna go to the nation's capital for the Washington Wizards. And if there was like a Wemby type prospect this year, I would say their first round pick, but I'm not gonna go with Kyle Kuzma. I'm not gonna go with Jordan Poole, obviously. We're gonna actually talk about Bilal Coulibaly, their rookie. Yeah, the reason why I went with Bilal over somebody like Kyle Kuzma is because he's still just 19 years old, and he's just in year 1 of his 4-year rookie contract. Like, Bilal's gonna make $6 million this year, $6.9 million next year, $7.2 million team option in 26, and then a $9.2 million team option in 2027. And we've seen so much promise from him. Like I said, as a 19-year-old, he's averaging 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists this year, shooting 52% from the field, but I think pretty notably, 41% from 3 on 3 attempts a night. And this dude is doing this with a dysfunctional offensive team as well, with a lot of ball-dominant players as well. And I'm just so excited to see the potential in Bilal Coulibaly and how he can improve over the next couple of seasons, and I do think he'd be the Wizards' most coveted trade asset. And the last Eastern Conference team of the video, we're going to talk about the Orlando Magic, and it's Paolo Banchero over Franz Wagner. I don't really think that's a hot take at all either, just because Paolo had that draft capital being the #1 overall pick in the 2022 draft. As well, I do think he is just as good of a player as Franz Wagner right now, and I think will be probably better next year. Paolo is giving the Magic 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists a night, while also shooting 38% from 3 on one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. All right, another untouchable player here for the Dallas Mavericks, and it's Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic literally just put up a 50-point performance on Christmas Day, and I didn't even bat an eye. Luka's the most insane player ever. I would give him his first MVP right now. He's averaging 33.5 points this year, 9.5 assists, and 8.5 rebounds. Yeah, it's time he gets his first MVP award. Now, for the Houston Rockets, if we did this before the season, we'd still probably say Jalen Green, but now it's definitely Alperen Şengün. Şengün is definitely their best young player at the moment. At 21 years old, is putting up 21 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game this season. He's also improved on the defensive side of the floor as well, and he's just getting better and better in all aspects of his game, both offensively and defensively. It's clearly Şengün in my opinion. Okay, for the Memphis Grizzlies, you could say it's Jaren Jackson Jr., but I'm still gonna go with Ja Morant, even with the suspensions and all the off-the-court issues that have happened with him over the last year. But come on, Ja, are you serious? He did the guns pointing celebration on Tuesday night, and it's like, all right, come on, Ja, what are we doing? But in his 4 games back, he's averaging 29 points and 8.5 assists, and he's clearly the best player on this Grizzlies roster. And he's got like a better contract than somebody like Trae Young too. He's gonna be making $34 million this year, and it goes up by $2 or $3 million every year till 2028, where he's gonna be making $44.5 million. Okay, for the New Orleans Pelicans, it's definitely Brandon Ingram in my opinion, and it's not Zion just because of the injury concerns. I think Brandon Ingram is relatively on par with Zion right now. I would even say Zion is their better player, but that is when Zion plays, and I think if you're looking at just a trade asset aspect of this, it's definitely Brandon Ingram. Now, Ingram isn't the most healthiest player either, but he's at least on the floor more than Zion, and he's still a really good player as well, putting up 23 points, 5.5 assists, and 5 rebounds a night this season. And lastly, for the San Antonio Spurs, it's Jeremy Sohan. Okay, yeah, also just just making sure that you're still paying attention this late into the video. So it's obviously Victor Wembanyama. I mean, Wemby's probably a top 5 trade asset in the league right now at just 19 years old. He was the most hyped up #1 overall pick since LeBron James back in 2003. And in 26 games this year, he's averaging 18 points, 10 rebounds a night, and playing all defensive team caliber defense. So yeah, that is gonna be for me. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Drop a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Also, let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these selections in the comments below. I'm super excited for trade season when it comes around. It's just always the most exciting time, that NBA trade deadline. And of course, like previous years, I will be live streaming my live reactions to all the trades on the deadline on that Thursday on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed. And thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.